Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we take you to Pike County where recent flooding has left a marina covered in trash.
And people in Perry County continue to feel the results of flooding and almost continuous rain as more is set to cover the region throughout the day.
Plus in Powell County, a daring rescue in dangerous conditions after a man got stranded on a hike.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 4 minutes after 6. I'm Will Puckett.
And I'm Madison Pergram.
Thank you for tuning into Mountain News This Morning on this Friday Eve. And Madison, the rain is still falling this morning, but the good news is it's not really what we saw last week.
Not what we saw last week, and we have a couple days clear of rain coming up, so we have light at the end of the tunnel.
Light at the end of the tunnel. The sun's going to start rising here in a little bit, and we should get a better picture of what Mother Nature has left behind overnight. But Brandon, early reports show that pretty consistently across the board, we escaped any major damage.
Right, and that's great news. I'm glad to hear that this morning. And a lot of rain was kind of steady and spread out, so that was some good news as well. But some heavier bands are falling now. Let's take a look at Line Pinpoint Doppler radar, taking on a brief tour here. And we start down in the Cumberland Valley, of course, some of the harder hit areas from last week's flooding, and we've not really had a break, so we're going to continue to watch that this morning. Heavy rain going through parts of Knox County, Bell County, over into Harlan and Lee County, Virginia, also into Claiborne County down to the south, down into the Big Sandy there, Pike County, Floyd County, Johnson County, over toward Martin and Lawrence counties there this morning, so be careful of that. Of course, that we've got that major rock slide ongoing in Williamson, West Virginia, that could have been very tragic if things had gone differently. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Temperatures at 39 in Moorhead, 55 across a lot of the area, and they will continue to drop today with the cold front. Your 12-hour planner takes us into the mid-40s or low 40s by this afternoon. Those rain chances will become more scattered as we head throughout the day, and maybe some snowflakes possible as we wrap up this system going into the nighttime hours. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon. Well, with the recent flooding across the region, Fish Trap Lake has once again filled with debris.
Yeah, take a look at this video. All that junk made the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Pike County's Pride cleanup workers, and East Kentucky Marina workers spend the last week doing damage control.
WYMT's Buddy Forbes spoke to officials who say this ongoing issue is being addressed.
It's unfortunate. It's not something you want to see.
But not unexpected.
Hey, it's Mother Nature. I mean, what are you going to do?
Fish Trap Lake once again finds itself on the receiving end of floodwaters, filling the lake and marina areas with debris.
It's an ongoing thing, and now they're talking about another big rain coming tonight, maybe in the morning. So it's just unpredictable. But we just have to keep working on it. We just have to keep going.
The flood comes months after the marina was cleaned up for the lake's summer season. The damage halting the progress of East Kentucky Marina's dock renovations. But marina owner James Thomas says he can deal with the delays if it keeps the community safe.
You know, this lake's first task is for flood control. I mean, if they didn't hold this up and hold all this water back, who knows what might happen downstream. So if that means me having to work a few extra hours and crank some winches and maybe pick up some garbage, I'm fine with that.
While officials say the majority of the debris is natural, there is a lot of garbage to pick up.
Trash is uncalled for. Trash shouldn't be done, and it just makes it look so bad on our area.
Jimmy Dale Sanders with Pike County Pride says a lot of the trash comes from out of state. But he and Thomas say everyone can lend a hand in keeping the litter down.
One piece of garbage, if you were to pick up one piece of garbage, it does a lot.
And getting the marina back in shape. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Thomas says the flooding came at the best possible time off season. A Pride cleanup event is being planned for the spring to help get everything back together before the marina begins its season.
And across the border over in West Virginia, one Mingo County road is expected to be closed throughout the day after a major rock and mudslide happened late last night. This is what West 3rd Avenue in the Fairview community looked like. A car was hit during the slide, but thankfully no one appears to be hurt. Mingo County dispatchers say all power lines are down in that area and widespread outages are reported.
We also got a better view of the debris on Buckhorn Lake yesterday. Just take a look at that mess that will need to be cleaned up. With more rain through the night and throughout the day, they expect the lake to rise even more.
Damage from flooding and continuous rain continue to impact the lives of people in Perry County. The road break in Viper is worrying people about their kids riding the bus on that road, and a secondary temporary bridge washed away again on Bob Hollow Road. Sherman Hampton says he's not only worries about him, but his neighbors.
Well, it's not been good. We've had to change the way that we do things. It's been hard. Trying to get back and forth across this bridge here. We've had to actually borrow a vehicle.
We will continue to update on damage throughout Perry County and the rest of the region as we expect more rain in the forecast.
And a man is safe following a daring rescue in Powell County. Powell County Search and Rescue say the hiker Christian Jones got lost in the Red River Gorge Tuesday night. He bushwhacked up a cliff and got stranded. It was dark, cold, and rainy. Rescue crews say those conditions added danger to the mission. They say Jones used his last 1% of battery power to turn on his flashlight, and that is how they were able to find him.
We immediately placed a blanket on him. We had food and Gatorade for him because we didn't know he was okay for food, but he had no jacket on.
Jones is from Cincinnati and told rescue members he recently joined the Army Corps and wanted to do some sightseeing before he started the program.
People in Stanton are remembering a police officer who died suddenly Tuesday. Detective James Kirk was at the Powell County Courthouse when he fell from a medical emergency. He was taken to Clark Regional Medical Center where he was pronounced dead. It is a loss many say no one can replace.
He knew how to treat people. If James went to arrest you, you'd feel like a heel, because you knew that you were in the wrong.
Kirk was only 40 years old. Friends say he planned to retire in Florida, get a boat, and spend the rest of his days fishing.
A trial date has been set for a man charged with shooting a McCreary County deputy. Mark Dungan is charged with attempted murder of a police officer, among other charges. His trial is expected to start October 20th. Investigators say he shot Deputy Tyler Watkins twice in July. Deputy Watkins was responding to a call on Lick Creek Road at the time. Police say Dungan shot the deputy from a car outside the home. Deputy Watkins was released from the hospital days after the shooting.
A vehicle crashed into the downtown Pineville Mountain Comprehensive Health Corporation clinic yesterday, and the destruction was all caught on camera. Although there's a lot of cleanup ahead, employees are thankful the crash happened when it did. WYMT's Connor James explains why and has that surveillance video.
It's a seemingly normal Wednesday morning at the MCHC building. The clinic here doesn't open for roughly another 10 minutes, and it's empty inside. But watch this. As this black car approaches, it looks like the woman behind the wheel is about to park, when suddenly she accelerates into the building, smashing through the front lobby. Now caution tape hangs around the outside of the building as officials figure out what's next.
The main thing is see if there's any structural damage. If so, then that's going to be a completely different ball game.
That's MCHC's Chief Executive Officer Mike Cottle assessing damage. Glass is everywhere, and the front of the store is almost unrecognizable.
The building's been extensively damaged. The whole wall's been moved back, and they're here about 14 inches.
Now, employees who were working at this building when the car came through said the sound was similar to a transformer exploding, and the damage left behind is quite a bit. But thankfully, the lobby that is usually full of patients was completely empty.
And there had been people sitting here at this desk. There had been people in the lobby, people walking back and forth.
The clinic opens at 8:30. The car came through at 8:21, less than 10 minutes before a packed waiting room.
So it was kind of divine intervention that what happened in the time frame that it did.
And although the woman behind the wheel is visibly shaken up, no one was hurt. In Pineville, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, doctors from the clinics are working out of Middlesboro and Harlan as repairs begin. The woman behind the wheel was not believed to be under the influence of anything.
Some heavy rain starting to fall here in Hazard this morning. We're seeing that across parts of the area. Last 6 hours has just been showers after showers after showers, but you can see the slow progression to the east there as the cold front continues to push through the region. Back to live pinpoint Doppler radar. Thankfully, most of the heavier bands of rain are starting to clear the I-75 corridor. Still some heavier bands down that way, but you see those yellows and oranges moving up into parts of the Kentucky River and the Big Sandy. Harlan County getting another pretty good soaking right now as well. Parts of Bell County and Lee County, Virginia as well. Hard hit areas from last week's flooding. Temperatures in the 30s, 40s, and 50s this morning. They will continue to drop from here as the cold front comes on through, and you'll see that there in the temperatures. We're going to continue to see again maybe the possibility for some scattered showers later this afternoon before this system really wraps up. Maybe just some flurries, and temperatures will get cold overnight. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Well, it's 6:14. Thanks for joining Mountain News this morning.
More news is on the way. Coming up, we'll tell you how an Illinois high school student is using fashion to inspire people to vote.